If I can have everybody's attention here in the media center, welcome here to this Friday at Kansas Speedway as we get ready for tonight's Toyota Tundra 250 and tomorrow's Go Bowling 400, which will be live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox Sports 1. And right now we are joined by AJ Allmendinger and Bruce Hill. And if you didn't see the news, on Wednesday, AJ Allmendinger and JTG Doherty Racing's family of brands unveiled their throwback paint scheme for the Bojangles Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. And that paint scheme was raced by none other than Topeka native Bruce Hill, who joins us today. Bruce raced in NASCAR's premier racing series for 7 seasons and made his debut in 1974, and in 1975 earned then Winston Cup Rookie of the Year honors, and has had a nice lengthy career in both the Winston Cup Series and the Winston West Series, and it now joins us today. Bruce, when you learned of this news that your paint scheme was going to be honored at Darlington this year, what was your reaction?
Well, I got a phone call out of the blue, and because I wondered who was calling from Charlotte. I had to come back in the house. I called her back, and Jennifer Chappell has been great to work with.
She is the best. Jen is the best, yes.
She's been great. And I was thrilled. I was telling her this morning, it's been 35 years or so since I've even been back in the garage area. I was like a lot of guys back then that ran out of money and had to get out of it and couldn't stand to go back, without being involved in it. So it's been an experience. It's been fun, and it's brought back a lot of memories. And the paint scheme, I was just thrilled when I saw the paint scheme on the 47 Kroger Kingsford Chevrolet. Looks great. I was thrilled with that. It just all worked out good. And I've watched AJ, didn't know AJ till this morning, but I've watched him run. I think he's a good, aggressive driver, and of course I'll be watching him more often now.
AJ, did you get any tips from him how to run Darlington?
I'll take anything I can get. It was fun to learn about Bruce, and we were just walking in here. Something that's really cool is the fact that we're both IKF Grand National champions, which I thought was pretty awesome. You don't get a lot of that in the NASCAR kind of just in any of the series or anything. A lot of the kids come from late models and stuff like that. So to be able to meet somebody that's an IKF Grand National champion is a lot of fun. And for me, I think it's just pretty special for what NASCAR does for the throwback schemes. Last year, it kind of happened so quick we weren't able to be involved in it. So this year, all of our partners and Kroger and Kingsford and on down the line, to allow us to do this and to be able to have Bruce's paint scheme, I think is pretty awesome. The way NASCAR unveiled that was really cool. So we're going to go out there, try to make him proud. I was going to try to grow the mustache like he had back in the day. That thing was sweet, by the way. But my baby face doesn't grow a mustache that way. So it'd be a lot of fun. But no, it's just it's cool, and try to make Bruce proud. It's gonna be a fun event. I thought last year just seeing all the cars was really cool, just to be able to for what I grew up watching, and then maybe some schemes that I'd never seen before, maybe just seen in a magazine. So to be able to share that now is it's gonna be a lot of fun. Gonna be really special, and just gonna be a fun weekend in Darlington.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll go ahead and open the floor up to questions. If you have a question for either AJ or Bruce, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Jerry in the back.
AJ, Jerry Jordan, Performance Racing Network, Kicking the Tires. The schedule came out yesterday. Do you have any comments or thoughts on the switch with Kansas and Talladega, with Talladega not being a cutoff, and also the loss of an off week?
No, I don't. It doesn't really matter to me, honestly. It's still in the same group of races, the way I look at it. So you're still going to want to win either one of them to be able to make it to the next round. And so not really a big deal to me. NASCAR, we kind of have the same schedule. I still keep waiting for them to add the 2 or 3 extra road courses, honestly. So hadn't happened yet, but yeah, you know, it's we'll worry about that when we get to it next year. Hopefully, we're worrying about it this year in the chase. What was the second part of the question? This off week or next year's off? When is next year's off week? No, we don't? Oh, sweet. So they took away one of our 3? Oh, all right.
Go next to Alan.
I have to plan more golf trips now during the week, it sounds like.
Alan Cavana, FS1. AJ, hard hit last week in Talladega. 2 questions. Just how are you doing, first of all? And you know, a lot of high speeds here at Kansas again. Is it ever hard for a race car driver to get over, you know, a hard hit like that and get back in?
Oh, I'm fine. You know, I was just a little bit sore the next couple of days. Nothing that I haven't experienced before after Talladega. So, you know, wasn't a big deal. It was a tough race. We got something out of it at least. Finished 14th, moved up a couple of spots in points, so it could have been a lot worse. The guys did such a great job last week to repair the car twice, really, to keep it going. But, you know, as we saw through the race, a lot of people had the same issues. So, you know, I'm getting here now. No issue. We just shut it off. You know the risks when you get into a race car. You know, NASCAR does a great job with all the safety aspects. I mean, we saw a lot of big hits last week. And fortunately, all the drivers were out and okay. And, you know, obviously it's not a lot of fun when you have to go through it, but we know that the safety is there, and NASCAR continually tries to keep working on it and make it better. So come here to Kansas and you forget all about it. See how fast your race car is.
Go next to Kyle.
Kyle Bukowski, thefourthturn.com. During the earlier season, there were a lot of fears that the guys in the garage, they'd be able to get all the downforce back that this package has lost. Do you think that that's happening right now?
Well, you know, the NASCAR, what's great about the race teams is they'll always have rules made, and they'll always find ways to try to make those rules and use them to their advantage. So I wouldn't say that all the downforce is back. I mean, we definitely slide around. I see Kansas tomorrow night being the same. You know, a lot of it's kind of based on what tire Goodyear brings, and does it fall off? Does it not wear out much? But in the end, you know, it's definitely slicker this year, definitely sliding around a lot more. So, you know, you're seeing that. Look at a team like Gibbs, the organization, they've probably figured it out the best so far, but it always goes in stages. You know, you're always going to go out there and do everything that you can to get the most downforce, most grip out of the race car, and all of our teams are trying to do that. But it's definitely a bit different than the past couple of years, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of you're working in the race car a lot more this year, so it makes it a lot of fun. And you know, I think it's put on great racing. So I see Kansas tomorrow night being the same.
Any additional questions?
Bruce, what else you got? What else? Hey, you know, there's a chance this weekend. You know, I got another sponsor, you know, Glad. So we've got the Glad to Give program. Follow my Twitter, you might be able to win my driving suit as well. You like that?
I don't think it'd fit.
You know? All right, then. If anybody wants my driving suit, you just follow my Twitter, okay? I don't know if that's anybody's like, no, we don't want that. But
No,
there are people here that want that, for sure. I promise you. There's people out there. So.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. I don't know why, but they do. So got a good program going on.
I would like to say it's been part of the experience this morning has been seeing people that I haven't seen for about 35 years. I ran into Eddie Wood out there right before I met AJ, and we talked for a long time. And you know, I just hadn't seen these guys in a long time, so it's been a neat deal. It's a cool deal. Just talking about the history of the sport too. You know, I know some people really follow the history and some maybe not, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. A lot of people have been involved through the years that a lot of people don't know about, you know. So this is a cool deal. I think Darlington had the foresight to do this, and I got to give them credit for that.
Will you come to Darlington and possibly jump in the middle of the race? I mean, that's a tough race. It's hot.
Actually,
it's slick.
My favorite track.
Your favorite track. Well, then you're in, because.
But I don't think it'd work right now.
No?
I don't think I would last very long. Might be fast.
I mean, it worked for Tony and Ty last week, so we could try that.
We'll go into Diane and then back to Stan.
Diane Cox with Advantage News out of St. Louis. Bruce, you spoke of the history, kind of history of NASCAR and racing, what have you. Would you say that you are proud of how NASCAR has changed over the years? Have you kept up with it? And will it be a little fun for you to see your old scheme coming around the track?
Yeah, it'll be really neat. Of course, I've watched the car anyway because of the number. Didn't know anybody involved with the team, which now I do, so they've definitely got a fan. AJ picked up a hell of a fan here.
Well, hey, man,
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm up to 5 or 6 fans now, so I like it. Yeah, so
And I'm one of them.
yeah, you are.
Yeah. So, no, it's been, the history is, there's just a lot of history in NASCAR. As far as the way the sport's grown, it's unreal, because I was telling somebody this morning that if somebody would have told me back then that there would eventually be a speedway in Kansas, I would have told them they needed a straitjacket, because it's just not going to happen, you know. It was not a national sport. I came from Kansas, they called me a Yankee. I think Richard tagged a Yankee name on me.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
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 You know, I had to laugh. I'd never been called a Yankee, but I was pretty far north. So it has changed a lot. You know, some good, maybe some they would probably like it better. We had a big gray area on the cars back then.
Oh, we don't now. Yeah.
I mean, you could get kind of ingenious. You might get caught, but you didn't get fined. They just made you change it.
I can't comment on that. I don't want to get fined today.
You know, so yeah, it's one of the neatest things I think I'd like to say is about the Darlington thing. And I thought of this the other day, and I haven't talked to these guys, some of them in a lot of years. I had pretty much the same pit crew my whole rookie year, even though they were all volunteer help. You know, which tells you something. We stuck together, we were in battle together, and I started calling them to see if they'd seen this and what have you, and some hadn't, and they were thrilled. And so I'm trying to get them all together at the Darlington race to get a group picture with AJ's car. And they are thrilled about this.
I'm pretty sure we could make that happen. I think we could do that.
I've got an old gas man. I've got a buddy sitting out here that was involved. Mark, he came down with me today. And he was involved way back then. And I've got another buddy down in Atlanta that was the old gas man, and his nickname was Wild Man, and there was a reason for it. And I called him the other day, and he says, well, you know, this is how he talks. He says, well, you know, he says, I've got this congestive heart failure and this COPD going on, but count me in, I'll be there dead or alive. And that's kind of how they feel, you know.
We'll finish it up there, Stan.
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com, Bruce. What was it, since you were way out here in Kansas, what attracted you to NASCAR racing? And then number 2, in your opinion, what was your greatest race?
What attracted me was what AJ was talking about earlier. I was a go-kart racer and raced all over the country and did well in it and wanted to somehow make racing a career. At the time, it was actually me and the guy sitting right there. We got to kind of looking around at the different types of racing. Of course, going into like the IndyCar stuff was more of a fit from what I was driving than the big stock cars. But we actually kind of saw maybe where NASCAR might have a pretty good future. You could kind of see it even way back then. It was a matter of just trying to stick around till it finally happened. And that's how we chose NASCAR. I went down south, rented a shop, had a little bitty shop south of Atlanta. Ran the whole rookie season with one full-time employee, volunteer crew, had a lot of guys come by and help that stuck with us, and one race car. And this guy that I'm talking about, Wild Man, it was the body man. He stayed busy. And he did, you can imagine. You know, and as far as the best race, which is kind of ironic, was my first Southern 500.
Oh, you're in then. You're in. I have not had a good race yet at the Southern 500. You're in.
I finished top 5, which, you know, for that race, it was, and I was proud of that. I mean, because Darlington's a driver's track. You know, you got to get around Darlington. And I ran good there because we were down on horsepower to the big teams at a lot of places. Darlington, if you got your car working, you could make that up. And that's what that boiled down to.
That's great. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you taking the time to join us today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Darlington.
Awesome.